There is a new fashion sweeping across Britain called the Lotus Birth. This is not a position in which to birth your baby or a pool full of lotus flowers, but a method in which, following birth of the baby and delivery of the cord and placenta, they're left attached to the newborn baby until they drop off naturally. The placenta has fed the baby for the last 9 months with nutrients and oxygen and has taken waste products away, keeping the baby healthy. Aida plans to have a lotus birth.
I just fancy the idea of doing it. I suppose it's like somebody who fancies buying designer clothes for their babies. It's purely that. I'm just very intrigued, and from what I've read and having people saying that their babies tend to actually almost not be awake for the first few days. And I don't mean awake as in they're asleep all the time, but they're not, they're not fretful like some babies are, and they tend to have a more peaceful transition into life outside the womb. That's quite intriguing, and I'd like to see if it is true.
For many thousands of years, different communities around the world have placed a great deal of importance on the placenta and cord, seeing it as the spiritual host for the baby.
Look, this is where we lose contact.
Others feel that cutting the cord may damage the baby's aura. The idea of Lotus Birth was formed in the 1970s in California. Aida's midwife, Andrea, discusses plans for the birth of the baby and will be responsible for treating the placenta after delivery.
Really nicely engaged. It's lovely. Great. All good. Have you got everything ready? Big pile of towels. You need more towels than you can ever imagine.
We've got loads of towels.
So that's all well, really.
Having done midwifery, what I've noticed is the babies have been very calm, and sometimes you could have waited for 2 hours before you actually do anything with the cord. And the minute you actually handle the cord to actually clamp it or cut it, the baby will become very agitated, which I don't find too traumatic, but you tend to wonder, what's happening there.
She's got lots of hair, hasn't she?
2.5 weeks later, Aida has given birth to baby Maya, and Andrea can now prepare the placenta. She starts by washing it to remove any excess blood and clots. It's then dried and wrapped in a towel to dry overnight. The following day, the cord has already started to dry out. Aida has made up a recipe of salt, lavender flower heads and geranium oil for the placenta to be wrapped in. Andrea will perform the next stage and proceeds to cover both sides of the placenta with the mixture. The salt helps to dry out the placenta, and the herbs and oil will give it a pleasant odour. Andrea has made a velvet bag for the placenta to be placed in and covers it with more salt and herbs. Finally, she pulls the drawstring and the preparation is complete. Aida and baby Maya must now wait for the natural separation of the cord to take place, which may take as long as 10 days. One added element to the Lotus Birth is that mother and baby are more restricted in their activities, which encourages the mother to rest more.
If anything, it's going to make me have to concentrate on the baby, because you can't really go to Tesco, can you? And which I have been known to do in the past on day 2.
Shame on you.
It's shameless, isn't it? And if it means I have to sit in bed, feed this baby for 4 to 7 days and do nothing else, then I think that's a huge plus.
Only 5 days later, the cord has separated, and Maya does appear to be a very calm baby.
There it is. It was a bit red, there, where she obviously pulled it before it was supposed to be pulled. But it didn't, it wasn't a hard tug. She just caught it between her big toe and the next toe, and it just came off. Quite a few parents actually report that it's the baby who tend to actually pull the cord off.
Aida has found that in her home country of Malaysia, rituals have been performed with placentae for centuries.
In Malay culture, originally they used to actually, wash it, obviously sever the cord, they don't keep the cord attached, and treat it with herbs and salt, and then put it in a special earthenware pot, and then put it by the side of the mother who's supposed to go through confinement for 40 days, which they still do now. You're not supposed to be doing much but sit in bed, really.
Aida feels that the Lotus Birth has made her happier too.
The reason why I think it must have made a difference is because when she wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, I actually wake up and go, hello! And I'm actually happy to see her. And it has not happened. I'm just very, very surprised because I was skeptical and I wasn't planning to actually be very, convinced. But I have to say, I thought it was going to be harder work than it really is. It turned out to be. So thumbs up. I would do it again if I were going to be pregnant again, but I won't.